Just like that, Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA, the team owners, the Players Association, in the split of an instance, all of it can change. In a split instance, all of it can change. If this injury does anything, it should be a wake-up call to the WNBA.
The WNBA may have just lost its most valuable asset, and there's no one to blame but the league itself. Caitlin Clark has been ruled out for a minimum of 2 weeks due to a left quadriceps strain, marking the first time she's missed a regular season game since her sophomore year of college. The Fever confirmed that Clark will be sidelined for at least 2 weeks, and updates will follow after medical revaluation. So far this season, she had started all 4 games for Indiana, averaging an impressive 19 points, 9.3 assists, and 6 rebounds per contest. But here's the truly frustrating part: this injury could be tied to a lingering quad issue from the preseason that was never properly dealt with. Was Caitlin Clark playing hurt this whole time, taking hits from overly physical defenders and getting no help from inattentive referees? The timing couldn't be worse, and the entire league seems to be in panic mode. Let's wish Clark a quick and full recovery. Drop a get well soon CC in the comments below. Because make no mistake, the Players Union, team owners, and WNBA leadership are now facing the reality that the league's surge in popularity could disappear overnight. The idea that Clark may have been competing on a compromised leg all along while everyone around her ignored the signs is both disturbing and infuriating. And now, the signs are starting to add up. During that May 24th matchup against the New York Liberty, something seemed off with Clark from the very beginning. Her shots consistently came up short, and she lacked the usual explosiveness fans expect from her, especially on long-range attempts. What's even more concerning is that video footage from the game clearly showed Clark using a heated compression pack on her leg while sitting on the bench. You don't need to be a doctor to understand what that implies. She was in pain. There are multiple clips that show Clark applying heat to her left quad during the game. New footage even confirms her trying to stay loose and mobile, clearly favoring that leg. And Coach Stephanie White's post-injury comments made the situation even more troubling. After the MRI, White admitted she wasn't sure when the injury actually occurred, saying the staff only realized something was wrong when Clark informed them after the game. White said, "I'm glad she did, because we need to nip this in the bud," referring to Clark finally speaking up about the discomfort. That one quote tells you everything. You're looking at a player who was hiding her pain. People watching from the stands could tell something wasn't right. Fans at the game noted that Clark didn't look herself on the sideline. Reports confirmed she was using heat therapy on the same leg throughout the night. The reality is that Caitlin Clark was playing while injured. And as counterintuitive as it may sound, that might actually be the best-case scenario. Some have reacted to the news like it's terrible, but the fact that she was able to perform as well as she did with an injury could indicate it was manageable until it wasn't. Let's be honest about what happened here. This wasn't just some random injury that came out of nowhere during the Liberty game. Clark had already missed Indiana's preseason opener with left quad tightness. Now, she's suffering from another quad injury on the exact same leg. The team insists that this new strain is unrelated to the earlier issue. But seriously, how believable is that? When the same muscle group fails twice in a short period, that's not a coincidence, it's a warning sign. And perhaps now, this will finally be the wake-up call the WNBA needs. The league needs to clean up its officiating and show some real appreciation for the superstar who has single-handedly elevated its relevance. That superstar is Caitlin Clark. For 2 straight seasons, we've watched Clark take a beating on the court. On her rookie campaign to the start of this year, she's endured relentless physical play, getting grabbed, bumped, slammed into screens, and fouled hard, all with little to no consequences from the officials. She's absorbed contact on nearly every possession, and the lack of whistleblowing has been glaring. What would be called fouls for most players are routinely ignored when it comes to Clark. The targeting is blatant, and yet the referees have done next to nothing to protect the league's most valuable star. What's even more maddening is that fans have watched this unfold in real time. Plays where Clark is yanked to the ground, lands hard, and there's no whistle. The idea that this has gone unpunished is absurd. Coach Stephanie White's remark about great players hiding injuries hits especially hard here. Clark likely felt pressure to push through the pain, convinced that she could battle through, just like she's always done. But this time, her body had other plans. The sad truth is that Caitlin Clark has been playing injured while constantly getting pounded by defenders who fully understand the officials aren't going to step in. The league still carries resentment toward her. There's still jealousy, and in some ways, it seems like the system is designed to humble her, to make her prove herself over and over, even after she put women's basketball on the national radar in a way no one ever had before. The most infuriating part is that this injury could have been completely avoided. Proper rest after her initial quad strain, better officiating to control physical play, a medical staff more attentive to subtle signs of physical decline, all of that could have prevented what's now become a nightmare scenario. But instead, everyone ignored the warning signs while the league's brightest star broke down under the weight of negligence. Now the WNBA is living its worst-case scenario, and their reaction swift and panic proves just how much the league depends on Caitlin Clark. She was responsible for 26.5% of all WNBA-related economic activity last season. That includes revenue from jersey and merchandise sales, ticketing, media rights, and TV viewership. And now, she's gone for a minimum of 2 weeks. But let's be real, 2 weeks is just when she gets reevaluated. More realistically, we could be looking at 4 to 6 weeks, maybe more. As soon as the injury was announced, the WNBA's worst fears were realized. League executives who had been celebrating the Clark-driven boom were suddenly scrambling to figure out how to fill the void. Teams that had made huge investments banking on Clark's drawing power were now facing major financial uncertainty. Fans began saying they were taking a break from watching, social media filled with posts from disappointed viewers declaring they'd tune out until Clark returned. The momentum was slipping, and fast. Within hours, the ripple effects hit hard. The Washington Mystics had moved their upcoming game against the Fever to a larger arena in Baltimore to accommodate Clark's massive fan base. Now, they're swamped with refund requests from fans who bought tickets solely to see her. Imagine having to explain to an entire crowd that the only reason the game was moved to a bigger venue was to host Caitlin Clark, and now she's not coming. That's beyond embarrassing. The situation is even worse for the Chicago Sky, who made a high-stakes gamble by moving their Fever game to the United Center, the massive home of the Chicago Bulls. It was supposed to be a celebration of the WNBA's growth, a symbol of the sport's rise. But now, with Clark sidelined, that event is in danger of turning into a disaster. Thousands of empty seats in a giant arena during a nationally televised game. That's the kind of imagery that damages the league's brand for years. The Baltimore game was expected to pack over 15,000 fans. Good luck filling those seats now. And here's the brutal truth that should terrify every WNBA executive. The entire league's revenue model currently depends on a 23-year-old rookie. The May matchup between the Fever and Sky was the most-watched WNBA game in ESPN history, drawing 2.7 million viewers and peaking at 3.1 million. Those numbers didn't happen because fans suddenly fell in love with the WNBA. They happened because people wanted to watch Caitlin Clark. Now, with her sidelined, networks like CBS Sports and ESPN are bracing for plummeting ratings. Advertisers, who paid top dollar to have their products shown during Clark games, are probably rethinking their media buys. The league built its marketing engine around one person, and now she's out. This should be a wake-up call for the WNBA, with Clark out for at least 2 weeks. The next few games will reveal just how much of that recent buzz came from the league and how much came from one individual star. Attendance projections for Indiana's road games have already dropped sharply. What were once can't-miss events are reverting back to the usual low-attendance WNBA games. Teams that had planned massive promotions and expected sold-out arenas are now facing half-empty venues and disappointed customers. The WNBA has just discovered that its current foundation was built on sand. After 26 years of struggling for relevance, they finally found a star who moved the needle, and their failure to protect her is now costing them dearly, while league officials scramble behind closed doors to stabilize their bottom line. Something even more repugnant was happening in public. As news of Clark's injury spread, certain corners of social media exploded not with concern, but with celebration. Incredibly, some fans, particularly supporters of Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky, were rejoicing in the fact that a 23-year-old woman had gotten injured. That's right, people were actually celebrating her pain. Let that sink in. These toxic reactions revealed something deeply rotten in the women's basketball ecosystem. Posts cheering for Clark's injury flooded Twitter and Instagram.